Revelation of the Newapians, Paa Taraq, the way. Paa Munzal Nadjar, Amun, Ptah, Djedi, Atlantis. Lo, my beloved children, loves of my life, jewels of my eyes. There was much said about Atlantis, the site of vacations. It was told in the far-off lands that there was a time when Sabat Art, Wu Sahat, Sirius and Orion were not apart from Ptah the planet Earth, and that one could just walk the steps or climb the rope from Ptah to Paa Taraq, the heavens. It was known that Sabat Art was ruled by Nashat, and it was known that Saat was ruled by Nashat. Both were Nazdaru, agreeable, overseers, benevolent, respecting each other. So the two joined, and it was recorded that these Nazdaru incarnated from the first of these four worlds 24,000 years ago and walked Paa Taraq, the earth, ground as guardians, while others who came to Ptah, the planet Earth, for other reasons of their choice, many were disagreeable, and dwelt in caves and hillsides on the outside of the garden, and where they use Homo erectus as laborers as they mined for gold. Paa Nabab encompasses all that is and cannot be contained in caves. They were ruled by Paa Nabab Nisut, Ba Ibis Bes of the little ones, sons and daughters of Paa Kamanu, of the seas, brother of Ptah. Bes, the protector, became consort of Anat Emhab, and she gave birth to Hathar. Bes, the protector, was first consort to Sakamtet, and she gave birth to Nefertum. Ptah later became a consort of Sakamtet. Together they birthed sons and daughters. These sons were first Amun, then Sakar, then Hak, then Sabak, then Hutip, then Zahutri. Those were the sons born on Sabat Art, Wu Ptah to Ptah Wu Sakamtet in times past. Each of their sons were guardians over the creatures of Ptah. Amun over bovine, Sakar over fowlines, Hak over mammalians, Sabat over reptilians, Hutip over humanized, Zahutri over simians, each in his own. In the record of Mesopotamia, it was recorded on stones and scrolls that the offspring of Elohim were males and females of both Karabin, and Saraphim, who came from the skies, and also were known as Moloch and Malak. In the scrolls of the Hebrews, it was recorded to put the blame on the female for what Paa Nabab, who raped them, did, and for their wicked offspring of giants did in the earth. It was told that the female made Paa Nabab angry, and Nashat, Ptah, took himself back to the skies, removing the right to Sahat and Sabat from the humanoids because of his disgust for the women. It is also told that he, the male, offended Nashat best by imitating Paa Nabab. Yet these are all lies made up by the ruler of Paa Nabab, Paa Munzal Nadjar, who is called by many names and titles. This became the lies of their beginnings. Thus was not the right knowledge, the right wisdom, or the right overstanding, sound right reasoning. For the sacred records reveal the truth as Paa Nabab art, actual facts from Paa Nabab, and all that happened was not told in truth. It was nothing more than lies of the liars. And many live by these lies from the beginning of the fourth world to the last 6,000 years, being under a spell of ignorance. To believe in whatever is passed on to them, to have faith and be hypnotized by the liars. It was the talk in the far lands. It is wrong knowledge of the outer place people and their deities, evil ones. Mortal men talked of the Sipat of Amun, Heliopolis, from whence they came. Now from Amun toward the south came great mortals, for the great land of Rameses, and all felt them return. Out of encircling Nile rivers over at the lands they laid Napata and Moro. They were mighty mortals, Sabatu, Manu, Teinamu, in those days and of their land. The old tablets and scrolls speak of these times. Their dwelling places were set in the swamp lands from whence no mountains rose, in the land of many waters before the separation of the landmass by waters. When the four great lands of now were one land, no reed seed, Red Sea existed, no Persian Gulf existed, no Atlantic Ocean existed. They were all one land called Ghana. Then came the ice and waters, and beneath the land that separated them became lands of many waters, slow flowing to the north from the south on into the Mediterranean Sea, in the shallow lakelands among the mud, out beyond the great plain of reeds, at the place of many flowers, bed-decking plant and tree, in the land of frogs, where trees grew beards and were very tall, and many had branches like ropes which bound them together, for the ground would not support them. There were butterflies like birds and spiders as large as the outstretched arms of men. There was much gold to be found there, The bees made the riches of honey. The birds of the air and the fish of the waters had hues ever so beautiful, which dazzled the eyes. They lured morsels to that land. Even insects fed on the flesh of mortals. There were elephants in great numbers with mighty curved tusk and fur, great and brown. This land had become two lands, and to its south were many small islands. Between them was the choice of Paa Nabab to construct the most perfect school of learning. So the waters were named sites of vacation. It was a welcoming place surrounded by waters on all sides and became known as Atlantis. The way to it was from between two great pillars to the east. It was invaded by evil Homo canine beasts of the land who came from the northeast. So Paa Nabab departed, and in one great shadow hour of destruction, the two lands, north and south, from where it was seen, fell into the waters of the deep and were lost. When the earth became born again by the sun's rays of light, called the next day, and the lands were owned by Negroes from the east land, which parted from it, and those who attempted to invade it, Caucasus, were driven to madness. All was gone. Mankind, the Homo canine, clothed themselves with the skins of beasts and were eaters of flesh and drinkers of blood. They themselves were food for their own overlords, Cherubim, Anakim, Raphaim, Ina, and Anunnaki of Nibiruki, the original center of Enlil city in Shuma, called Nippur, in Akkadian Mesopotamia. If they did not offer their overlords offerings of flesh and blood as rituals of sacrifices of their firstborn and daughters to them, they would be taken by night and never return, for they became flesh and blood offerings for their overlords, Ina, Anunnaki, and Anakim. This was their way of living. This did not bury their dead, left their carcasses on which the hell hounds feasted. The dead laid about in their caves and hills. There was much disease, odor, and filth, until a creature was created to clean up the filth by breeding the rodent, rat, feline, cat, canine, dog, to breed the hog. It was an eater of all things and anything. It was created to eat up the filth in the caves and hillsides. But the Homo canine began to hunt and eat them as well. Much sickness and disease for the Caucasoids, and they invaded others, raped, killed, stole land, claimed it as theirs, and their overlords gave them a way to live. These became clans known as Celtics. Their two tribes were those with yellow fur and blue eyes, and those with red fur and green eyes. They were given Wiccan and Druid rights by their